And so if you don't like or enjoy an exercise, or it just feels awkward for you, and your coach is saying you have to do this, I command you, this is the best exercise, it may in fact be the best exercise, but it's not the best exercise for you. Coach Greg, and in today's video, I'm going to be explaining why I've quit the squat, bench, and the deadlift. And no, I'm not here to say that all you should quit doing these lifts, but they may in fact be killing your gains. Each of these exercises are great exercises, but depending on the person, they may or may not be right for you. Here are my top 10 reasons explaining exactly why I no longer squat, bench, and deadlift. Squats, bench, and deadlifts are some of the most taxing exercises you can do. And I personally am training my entire body, that's every single muscle, 3 times a week. If I were to squat, bench, and deadlift 3 times a week, it would simply be way too much for me to recover from. Number 2, let's face it, there's only so much you can do in one given day. I don't want to be at the gym for 3 hours doing weights. And in cutting out these 3 lifts, I find it much easier to get through my workouts within a reasonable amount of time. Personally, I like training to failure and beyond. And when training to failure and beyond on squats, benches, and deadlifts, it's hard. It induces a significant amount of cumulative fatigue. And so if I tried to do these lifts 3 times a week, it would be too much. And remember, I'm training to failure and beyond. These exercises, very hard to push yourself both mentally and physically to failure or past failure. Just think of it. You're doing squats, you're going to go to failure and do a drop set and keep going. How long would it take to recover from that? In comparison, a leg press, leg extension, leg curl, a lot easier. And consider at 47 years of age, do I really want to overtrain my body both mentally and physically? Would I really be able to push myself as hard as I want to on squats, benches, and deadlifts 3 times a week? Probably not. And so I've chosen other exercises to make up for these 3 lifts. And think of it, it's much easier to train past failure to do drop sets or partial reps using a machine than doing something like a squat. You do a set of squats, 10 reps, you stop, take a plate off, go back and squat some more. In comparison, if you're doing a leg press, you grab the pin out, put it down a peg or 2, and you continue on with the set. It might take you 5 seconds. Number 4, injury. These 3 lifts, you're far more likely to get injured than, say, using a machine. And seeing as I like to train to failure, perhaps ego lifting from time to time, trying to set powerlifting records, the likelihood of me getting injured during these 3 lifts significantly greater. And so in trying to avoid setbacks and trying to avoid injuries, I've chosen not to do these exercises as it allows me to be more consistent. I mean, after all, what is the point? If I'm going to train for 2 months and then get injured and have to take 2 months away from training, would it not make more sense to simply avoid the injury in the first place and be able to consistently training, perhaps with slower gains, but slowly and consistently being able to train day after day, year after year, and not get injured? That is important to me. When I used to train squats, bench, and deadlifts, I'd often rest 5 to even 7 or 8 minutes between sets. I wanted maximum recovery. Just think of how demanding it is to do a squat or deadlift to failure. I was using a 5-4 or at best a 3-day split, training my body not even twice per week. But when I train now, I have less time in the gym, I don't rest as much between sets, and I prefer doing agonist-antagonistic training or circuit training. This allows me to get through my entire body, the entire workout, with less time spent in the gym. And so rather than sitting there for 5 minutes waiting to recover, I go to the next machine and work a different muscle. That allows the muscle I just trained to get the rest it needs, and by the time I hit it again, it's fresh. And so in avoiding these lifts, it's kind of a time-saving hack. It allows me to get a great workout in less time. The years of heavy lifting, oftentimes using my ego more than I should, younger years bouncing the weight off my chest or using improper technique to get the bar up on the deadlift, that has led to some nagging injuries. I've been dealing with a busted up knee, hip, shoulder, lower back. I don't want to end up like Ronnie Coleman. And when I do actually try these lifts from time to time, I notice it hurts. It's painful. For a day or 2, I'm sore in a way that doesn't make me feel good. And so I think it's smarter to listen to my body. I've trained these lifts for over 3 decades. And so the time has come to say, well, I gotta move on. And so I thought it best leave my ego at the door, not be concerned with having huge, massive powerlifting numbers, and train safer than last time. Number 8, I'm prioritizing cardio. And so what does that mean? It means that I care more about improving my cardiovascular fitness than having muscle hypertrophy.
All day, your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, that goes up. And so the amount of calories you're burning in a day, the more muscle you have, it goes up dramatically.
I already have enough muscle. I'm 5'6", over 190 pounds, 9% body fat. I don't need more muscle. But what I do want is improved cardio. And when you're racing bikes multiple days a week, training cardio and lifting weights 3 times a week, there's only so many days where you can go all out, both mentally and physically. It's not just the physical, training harder than last time, pushing yourself day in, day out. It's also the mental. When you're in a race, sprinting harder than last time, trying to beat out your opponent. The last race, I got 6th place in the elite division, 96 riders. I missed 5th place by 0.001 of a second. That's 1/1000th of a second.
Those of you who don't think fractions of a second can make a difference, supplementation, GO2 max, beta alanine, and so on. This is the elite division. 6th place out of 96 guys within a second here, look. 20th place, 1 second behind. 30th, within 1 second. 39 guys finished within 1 second.
I'm only centimeters away from placing at the top. And so you're going all out. As hard as you possibly can go, you are pushing that much effort. $1 million, you can't go 1 millisecond faster.
If I had less lactic acid being produced and excreted, I could go harder for longer. The difference between me getting 10th and top 3, literally a second, that can be done with beta alanine. That alone can make that much of a difference.
And so how could you possibly push yourself that hard every single day? Imagine the day before a race, you went to failure squats, bench, and deadlifts, you did a full body workout. The next day, you're racing bikes and you have to beat that opponent by 1 centimeter. Could you push yourself that hard? And then the next day, do it again, squat, bench, and deadlift? It just becomes too much. And so you have to prioritize and say, where am I going to give my maximum efforts? And where am I just going to try to maintain what I got? And so for me, I'm prioritizing cardio. I actually do my cardio before lifting weights. And so remember what I've said in the past, if your goal is maximum hypertrophy, you warm up and you do your weights. And if you're going to do cardio, do it after. You don't want to do your cardio before because you're going to pre-fatigue yourself for the weights you're about to do. I do the opposite. I do all my cardio before the weights because I'm more concerned with getting cardio in rather than lifting weights. Now, if your goal is to build muscle and cardio is less important to you, then don't do what I'm doing. Clearly, I'm not only doing moderate pace, steady state cardio, I'm also doing HIIT cardio, and that is hard. You can't go all out every single day. Eventually, you'll burn out. Pick what matters most for you and go harder than last time on that. Number 9, having already competed in over 70 powerlifting competitions, having done squats, benches, and deadlifts at the elite level for over 3 decades, simply trying everything to maximize those lifts, it's no longer as enjoyable for me as it once was. And one of the most important factors in having longevity in this sport is enjoying your workouts. And I'm 47 years of age, and unlike what Mike O'Hearn says, you're not going to get better forever. And so eventually, you're going to get weaker. You're going to get older. Your testosterone levels are going to go down. I'm not abusing PDs. I'm on HRT, 140 milligrams a week. And so I can't expect to keep getting stronger forever. You're not going to be stronger at 87 than you were at 47, 37, 27, and so on. And number 10, remember this. There is no exercise you need to do to build an incredible physique. You don't need a squat, you don't need a bench press, and you don't need a deadlift. Although they're all great exercises, there's a host of other exercises you can perform to build muscle. And so if you don't like or enjoy an exercise, or it just feels awkward for you, and your coach is saying you have to do this, I command you, this is the best exercise, It may in fact be the best exercise, but it's not the best exercise for you. And if they know what they're doing, they should be able to say, yeah, I hear you. You don't like squats. Well, we're going to do this instead. You don't like deadlifts. That's perfectly okay. Here's another exercise you can do instead. The optimal workout isn't just the best workout. It's the one you enjoy, the one you're willing to do for the rest of your life. And remember, if you want to purchase harder than last time supplements like the Seco Bar, the pre-workouts, both Stim, the Pump, Creatine, GO2 Max, G-Shred, G-Focus, cookbooks, and so on, please click the link in the description. Use code GREG. You get 10% off. Do that right now. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm. Give one of these bloops a try. Watch at least one. Do the favor for me. Please comment for the algorithm. And until next time, I am out.